exploring truth, goodness, and beauty. Part 3 of 5. Truth, goodness, and beauty in rhetoric. As James A. Herrick explains, when we express emotions and thoughts to other people with the goal of influencing or persuading them, we engage in rhetoric. Note that on this definition, rhetoric is not limited to using words to make arguments. So, on the one hand, yes, this is rhetoric. But on the other hand, this is also rhetoric. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle defined rhetoric as the power to observe the persuasiveness of which any particular matter admits. Rhetoric also encompasses the principles of how best to help an audience make the same objective observations. In other words, for Aristotle, rhetoric is not about manipulation, but service. It is about virtue-oriented persuasion grounded in objective values. Here's a particularly famous passage from Aristotle's Rhetoric. He says that of the modes of persuasion furnished by the spoken word, there are 3 kinds. The first kind, which is referred to by the Greek word ethos, depends on the personal character of the speaker. Now that's clearly something that we would measure against the standard of good or evil. The second mode of persuasion, which is referred to by the Greek word pathos, depends on putting the audience into a certain frame of mind. What Aristotle's getting at here is pointing people towards noticing beauty or ugliness, which will attract or repel them. The third mode of persuasion, called logos in Greek, depends on the proof provided by the words of the speech itself, something that of course be judged by the standard of truth or falsehood. So we have ethos, pathos, and logos as the 3 elements of rhetoric, and those relate to the standards of good and evil, beauty and ugliness, and truth and falsehood. Interestingly, when the Apostle Paul gave advice on how to evangelize non-Christians in a persuasive way, a topic to which we will return in the final video in the series, he mentioned the same 3 elements of rhetoric as Aristotle. In Colossians 4, verses 5 to 6, he wrote, "When you're with unbelievers, always make good use of the time. Be pleasant," that's ethos, "and hold their interest when you speak the message." That's about pathos. Choose your words carefully and be ready to give answers to anyone who asks questions. So that's about logos. In ethos, we're asking, is that person of good character or not? As conversion researcher Jana Harmon notes, skeptics see religious believers as a group wholly unlike themselves, from naive, gullible, and or stupid to narrow-minded, and even evil, posing a social or political threat to education and society. These negative stereotypes then prompt dismissal of Christians and Christianity without thoughtful consideration. When Christians are found to be, surprisingly, intelligent, loving, or genuine, unfavourable perceptions are challenged and resistance is disarmed. Skeptics can find themselves attracted to that which they once held in contempt. 1/4 of former atheists reported that care and concern from Christians attracted them toward God after a personal crisis. In the issue of pathos, we're really asking, is X, whatever that is, beautiful or ugly? As the Apostle Paul wrote in Philippians 4:8, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Timothy Keller notes that people change not by merely changing their thinking, but by changing what they love most. Change happens not just by giving the mind new arguments, but also by feeding the imagination new beauties. And in Logos, we are of course asking, is this argument reasonable and is truth-oriented or not? If you want to delve into this, you can look at the 2 chapters on how arguments work and how they can go wrong in my book, A Faithful Guide to Philosophy, or pause the video and study this summation flowchart of the 3 questions to pose of any argument to test whether you're going to put some trust in it or not. So, rhetoric draws our attention to attractive or repellent facts grounded in the transcendent values of the true, the beautiful, and the good. Next time, we'll be looking at truth, goodness, and beauty in spirituality.